east. Meanwhile, we're now shifting focus towards the Russia-Ukraine war. The Ukrainian military has released a drone footage showing that its soldiers have recaptured a village in the Donetsk region. Earlier, Ukraine claimed that it retook control of 6 settlements in the country's eastern Donetsk, where Moscow had also claimed to have made advances. There are reports that claims of active offenses which have resulted in advancement in several locations along Ukraine's northeastern Sumy region, which have come to light. Moscow has meanwhile claimed to have taken control of multiple settlements in the Sumy region, including Yablunivka and Oleksivka. These developments have come across at a time when both Russia and Ukraine are gearing for peace negotiations mediated by the United States of America. Joining us on the broadcast is Mr. Raymond Vickery. He's the former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce, joining us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for taking out time speaking to us on NewsX World. It's been quite a power-packed week in Washington. We've seen Zelensky as well as leaders from across NATO countries in a show of strength coming to the Oval Office and meeting Donald Trump as well. The optics of which we've all seen the pictures of. We'd seen earlier, even before that, Trump meeting Putin in Alaska, pushing for trilateral talks. There's been a lot of murmur regarding Budapest being chosen as the location. Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, today confirmed that Zelensky is, that Putin is open to meeting Zelensky and in Budapest. Meanwhile, Zelensky has claimed that Budapest is quite the challenging location. So do you think peace talks will fructify?
Well, thanks very much for having me. One hopes that the talks will continue. As Winston Churchill once said, jaw is better than war. However, I don't have great hopes for this because peace, like war, has to be waged. And it requires both a strategy and a coalition to be able to bring about peace. And those conditions really have been shattered by President Trump's approach of a real estate magnate, if you will, who can get together with a principal, Putin in this case, and Zelensky in a secondary position, and make some sort of real estate-like transaction in which there will be some glory which will be shed upon President Trump. That's just not the way in which to go about it. I am encouraged somewhat by, as you've indicated, ministers from some of the great democracies of Europe getting together to see if there isn't some way that the pressure can be kept upon President Putin. He started this war. He invaded it. He could end it tomorrow simply by going home. Thousands of people are being killed even as we speak because of these hostilities. So it's going to take more than just the kind of photo op which took place in the United States, and it is going to require, in the first instance, a ceasefire, at least to stop the killing. So one is encouraged that people are talking rather than just resorting to violence, but it's going to take more than just talk to convince President Putin that he can't be the new Peter the Great and restore the glories first of the Russian Empire, which was inherited by the USSR. So we hope that there will be both a combination of carrots and sticks, and that President Putin will succumb to that pressure and be diverted from the imperialistic path that he's on right now.
To add to that, I also wanted to ask you what next as far as the territories Ukraine has lost, including Donetsk, areas in Donetsk in particular. Do you think in order to make sure, catalyze a peace deal, would Ukraine have to make some concessions with Russia? Would Trump pressurize Zelensky to do so? Or will European leaders as such stand their ground?
Well, I think that there are going to have to be compromises, but those compromises do not necessarily involve simply giving territory to Russia. There are a lot of options in terms of demilitarized zones, in terms of international organizations being able to keep the peace in those areas. Sure, there are going to have to be some adjustments made, but the overriding fact here is the invasion of a sovereign nation by Russia. And it has to, any result which is going to be more than just a pause in hostilities, has to have Putin and Russia receding from that principle that they hold that they have a right to somehow use violence in order to be able to take territory. So sure, there can be adjustments. There can be, as I say, carrots and sticks on both sides, but it's not going to happen just with a kind of photo op or a real estate transaction, which President Trump's approach is now. We've got to get back to a ceasefire. We've got to have a coalition of those who are working for peace, which include the great democracies of the world, in order to be able to restore the kind of order which we've had under the United Nations Charter and has largely kept the peace since World War II.
A quick follow-up to that, Sergei Lavrov has also, while stating that Putin is ready to meet Zelensky, he's questioned Zelensky's authority to sign any peace deal. What's your reaction to this particular statement?
Well, I think it's ironic that Putin, who is responsible for tens of thousands of deaths, and has violated the charter provisions of the United Nations and international rule of law against non-aggression, non-imperialism, would be questioning the authority of Zelensky, who was elected, has put off elections because of the Russian occupation of his territory. But this is a typical Russian ploy, if you will, to say, I'm legitimate, but you're not legitimate, and therefore we can't make peace. And it plays really into the hands of Putin if one accepts that. And unfortunately, our president, President Trump, from time to time, has cast his own doubt on legitimacy of Zelensky. This is entirely unproductive, but if the Russian position that I can't do this because of illegitimacy is almost laughable.
All right, I request you to stay on with us because